Well, we've just watched President Cyril Ramaphosa addressing the Northern Cape Provincial Council. He talked about South Africa's unhealthy relationship with alcohol, and I don't think it's helped by the fact that South Africa's illegal booze market is now worth more than 20 billion rand, according to a new South African alcohol industry report. The local trade in illegal alcohol includes counterfeit products where legitimate brands are refilled with cheaper alcohol, as well as unbranded alcohol and smuggled products, to mention just a few. South African Liquor Brand and Owners Association CEO Kurt Moore is with us on the line right now. That's 12% of the total value of the alcohol industry is illegal. Kurt?
Well, Mark, good day, and thank you for having me. Yes, that's correct. Before we get into the numbers, I just want to provide some context for this research. We did this research in 2012, 2017, and if we had followed that same cadence or pattern, we would have done this research again in 2022. But because of the extraordinary year we had in 2020, we commissioned that research using the same research agency that we used in the first two reports. And yes, as you say, the results are just in, and we always suspected this, and I think many of your viewers also know that just because you've banned the legal trade of alcohol does not mean that alcohol is no longer in the system. In fact, we've been arguing over the last while that it's the illicit alcohol that is substituted for the legal alcohol, and this report certainly confirms those views and suspicions that we held. And as you mentioned, 12% of the market is, in terms of value, is illicit. It was at 7% in 2017. So that is an increase of about 10%. If we take it by volume, it's 22%, up from just under 15% when we last.
Can you hear me? I want to ask you, Kurt.
The size of the market, as you mentioned, 20.5 billion. But what's more important is that 11.3 billion rand has been lost to the fiscus. Now, it's easy to throw around these numbers, but let's just get some perspective on that. 11.3 billion rand, if you look at the Department of Social Development's budget, that will pay for about 2 million child support grants for about a year. If you take the police budget, that 11.3 billion rand would pay for an additional 34,000 police to help us all be safer. So, yep, it is a huge problem, and one that requires industry, government, and society to tackle.
Kurt, though alcohol is alcohol, it's whether it's illegal or whether it's legal, is there anything that makes apart from, of course, the massive loss to the fiscus, which is a problem that we must get around? The fact is that the President mentioned earlier that we have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. How is it that legal alcohol is a better option for users?
Okay, well, there are a number of forms of alcohol, or illicit alcohol, sorry. The one that is most problematic is what we call concoctions or refills. We have the Liquor Products Act. The Liquor Products Act is very prescriptive in terms of what constitutes a product. So there's laws and rules for how you make brandy, how you make whiskey, how a beer is made, how wine should be made, what should go in, and more importantly, what shouldn't go in. And many of these products that are the subject of refill are not necessarily compliant with the Liquor Products Act, so there may be products of dubious quality. Earlier, at the end of last year, as a matter of fact, one of our members had their production premises broken into, and they stole bottle caps. Now, if you're stealing bottle caps, it's only for one purpose, and that's to use it for refill purposes. But then there are other types of smuggling, or other types of illicit trade, such as smuggling, which does not necessarily contain a dangerous product. They just happen to evade alcohol taxes. Now, our ports are used for most of Southern Africa, so we'll have a consignment of stock coming in into one of our ports with paperwork that suggests it's going to one of our neighboring countries. And because it's going to our neighboring countries, they are not liable to pay excise tax here in South Africa. And so the product is intended to leave but never leaves. And so these products are now available in the market, and competing unfairly with the legal products, not paying taxes, and contributes to that 11.3 billion rand loss to the fiscus that we talked about. Now, if we unpack this report, the report identifies...
Unfortunately, we're out of time, Kurt. I'm sorry about that. Wish we could be speaking about this issue for a little longer, because there is much to speak about. That was South African Liquor Brand Owners Association CEO Kurt Moore.